She didn't just end his life. She turned those of his own kin into his liquidators. Welcome to Giza, Egypt, specifically the village of Nahiya. In this house, a mother's hug was a trap, and a son's loyalty became a father's tragic end. This isn't just a crime. It's a psychological puzzle that confused the police for days. Listen closely. I am digging through locked Arabic archives, forensic reports, and criminal labs, using sources exclusive to this channel to translate these untold stories solely for you. Since I'm translating these locked files from Arabic solely for you, subscribing helps me unlock more cases. Hit that button now, and let's inspect the evidence. The woman in the photo is Sah-ber. She achieved what I call complex betrayal. It is rare to find someone who doesn't just betray, but turns everyone around her into traitors. To understand the year 2020, we must travel 17 years back in time. It was 2003 in the village of Nahiya, Kurdasa, Giza. Sah-ber was a young man, a very skilled laborer. He worked from sunrise to sunset. He married Sah-ber for her beauty and reputation. But in the world of crime, we know that admiration is one thing, and marriage is a different battlefield. Shortly after the wedding, problems began. Sah-ber solved them easily at first. A year later, they had their first child. This child was the reason they both agreed to calm things down. But look at the pattern. Sah-ber started complaining that Sah-ber was never home. She claimed he neglected his house. But the files show Sah-ber left at 8 in the morning and was back by 5 or 6 p.m. He stayed home until the next morning. So, what was really bothering Sah-ber? On the other hand, Sah-ber had a different struggle. He felt Sah-ber neglected her personal hygiene and self-care. This was a major issue for him. When he finally spoke to her about it, she got furious. She accused him of betrayal or wanting to marry another woman. 5 years passed, and they had 2 more children, a total of 3. The problems remained, but they kept going. Sah-ber saved a large sum of money over 5 more years. He finally bought the house of his dreams, a 3-story building in the same area. He took the top floor and the roof for himself and left the first and second floors for his children's future. Finally, Sah-ber was a big contractor. Everyone described him as a respectable and honest man. But the descriptions of Sah-ber were the exact opposite. Neighbors noticed her extreme greed. The problems between them grew even larger. In early 2015, Sah-ber decided to separate. Sah-ber took the children to her mother's house. Sah-ber paid every penny of their expenses. But during this time, Sah-ber was planting seeds of hate. She told the children their father had sold them out. She told them he would marry someone else and they would lose the house. The children believed her. This is a classic psychological liquidation of a father's image. Question 1. Have you ever seen a parent use their children as weapons like this? Does the damage ever truly heal? Only 3 months later, Sah-ber married another man. But a year later, the second husband faced the same issues. The lack of hygiene, the lack of care. In just 1 year, he divorced her. Did she learn? No.
She went back to her family's house. 6 months later, neighbors pressured Sah-ber to take her back for the children. In late 2016, under massive pressure, Sah-ber agreed. A year later, the same problems, the same misery. But Sah-ber said, "We are old now. The children will be destroyed if we divorce again." He decided to forget his own happiness. A year later, Ah-ber was pregnant with their 4th child. We reach August 2020, a Wednesday. On this day, Sah-ber vanished. His phone was permanently switched off. Ah-ber said, "He left at 8 a.m. and never came back." She started a new story. She claimed he married another woman and was playing a trick on her. By Thursday, he was still gone. The brothers went to the police. They discovered Sah-ber hadn't even shown up for work on Wednesday. Security forces moved to the house. They found Ah-ber extremely calm, organized, and natural. When asked why she didn't report him missing, she said, "I knew his brothers would do it." Her calmness was a red flag. The lead detective noticed a surveillance camera on a nearby shop. He ordered a secret review of all footage. Friday morning, the search team watched the tapes. A shocking discovery. Sah-ber never appeared on Wednesday. Not at 8 a.m., not at any time. They went back to Tuesday. They saw Sah-ber returning home at 6 p.m., and he never walked out again. But then, something else. A young man entered the house at 1 a.m. At 2 a.m., Ah-ber and her eldest son appeared. They were carrying a mattress. It looked very heavy. They put it on a motorized tricycle and left the street. Detectives tracked them to a canal in Dashur. They threw the mattress there. The young man from 1 a.m.? It was Walid, Sah-ber's nephew. The boy with her? It was Mohammed, his 16-year-old son. Look at the timeline. An hour after they dumped the mattress, a pickup truck arrived to take it away. The truck belonged to Walid. Police summoned all three. The tension was thick. Then they showed her the footage. Her face went pale. The mask shattered. She confessed. Walid, 38 years old, out of a correctional facility for only 6 months. He had served 6 years for aggravated assault. He saw Ah-ber, and he wanted her, his uncle's wife. Ah-ber convinced him Sah-ber was a tyrant. The 16-year-old son knew about the illicit relationship. He didn't care. He hated his father because of his mother's lies. The son said, "If they divorce, we get nothing." He must end his story. Ah-ber promised Walid money from selling the house. Walid demanded £25,000 up front. The plan. 3 days before, Ah-ber said they needed a new mattress. On Tuesday night, she put illicit substances in his juice. At midnight, she called Walid. Walid entered, used a sharp tool on his chest, then ensured the liquidation. They stuffed his remains into the old mattress and sewed it shut. Ah-ber and the son dumped it. Then Walid moved it to a cemetery. He bribed a gravedigger with £5,000. They broke into a tomb, buried Sah-ber, and put a new lock on it. Police recovered the remains. The forensic report confirmed the sharp tool injuries, the sedatives, and the signs of terminal pressure. They were all sentenced to the ultimate penalty: capital punishment for premeditated liquidation. The son was 16. In your opinion, does a mother who convinces her son to end his father's story deserve a fate worse than death? May Sah-ber rest in peace. He was unconscious when it happened, and perhaps that was a mercy. He didn't have to see his own son and nephew ending his story. Justice was served here, but the files are full of cases where the guilty walked free. The story on your screen right now is even darker, and you won't believe how it ended. I'll see you there.